Yo, what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Raj Boogie. I am so sorry for the wait. I know it's been a few months since I put up my last video, but I'm here tonight to basically talk to y'all about the SLATE Digital Everything Bundle. That's what I have up right now. I subscribed to this about a month and a half ago. I took the 24.99 plan. They do have other plans also, but what I'm actually about to do is switch over to the annual plan, which is 14.99 a month. I'm gonna take advantage of that. But I wouldn't subscribe anything unless it was worth it. And let me tell you, these things took my mixes to a whole nother level. And I can't wait to show you guys how. So right now, what I have up right now is this is my new mix with the virtual mix rack. As you can see, this is my mix bus I have up right now. That's the first channel on my mix bus. I'm sorry, my first plugin on my mix bus. So I have the virtual mix bus and the revival going on. So this is my original mix right here, which is what you guys heard in my last videos. Let me take this part off. As you can see, I have all these other plugins, all these crazy plugins. I know my plugin count is crazy, but that's what I have. And I want to play y'all the original mix and let y'all know how that sounds. So without further ado, here's the original mix.
Yeah. My mama all alone, getting by on welfare. I don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours. Mama, city still ours. We yelling out our hoods, we don't even own our homes. We don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours. Bro, the city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours.
Okay, so that's the original mix. It sounds it's a little bit open, for my taste. And the reason why I kept it open because I don't really know how to like glue it together, or I didn't really know how to glue it together without squashing it with the plugins that I had. Um, and this is what I like about the SLATE Digital Everything Bundle. It made it so easy to glue everything together. So I'm gonna pull up the new mix now, and I'm gonna play you guys the new mix and let y'all hear how that sounds. So here we go.
Yeah. My mama all alone, getting by on welfare. I don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours. Mama, city still ours. We yelling out our hoods, we don't even own our homes. We don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours. Bro, the city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours.
Alright, so that's the new mix. Oh yeah, I did a video to this too, so if y'all want to check that out, the link is in the description. You know what? Let's get back. Let's get back to the mix. Okay, so I have up my new mix now. I got my mix bus up. And I basically want to show you guys step by step on how I mixed this. So the first thing I actually did was I stemmed out my original mix and brought it onto a new session. And what I basically did was basically spread out the VCC across each and every channel. So this is my kick channel right now. That's my other kick. This is my hi-hat. So I have at least the virtual channel on every single channel across my mix. And what the mix bus does, it controls everything. If I group it to the first group, which I have with every plugin, it groups everything onto the virtual mix bus. So whatever I change on the mix bus, the channel changes also. See, so I switched my console setting, and what the virtual console collection does is emulates 6 consoles. And let me tell you right now, I know nothing about the sound of consoles. The closest thing I ever came to a console was back when I was in Full Sail about 10 years ago. We messed around with a SSL 9000J in a in the AMEC 9080i. So what's up, Full Cell? Shout out to Full Cell, man. That taught me a lot, for real. But other than that, I don't really know what consoles sound like. I just know that it sounds great. And I messed around with a few console emulations. I messed around with NLS, messed around with the console emulation and Sonar, and those things are cool, but it just gave you sound. But the Slate Digital VCC, it gives you a different feel. Like it's hard to explain. It's so subtle, but yet it's crazy. It's crazy. I just know how to use my ears, so you know, I tend to just tweak stuff until it sounds right, and that's pretty much what I do with everything. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to bypass everything except my limiting, just to keep the levels right, and I'm gonna hit the group bypass on the mix bus. So if I hit the group bypass, it'll bypass every single channel plugin. See, the group bypass is engaged. Excuse me for my voice. So I'm gonna play it now and let y'all hear what it sounds like without it.
Yeah. My mama all alone, getting by on welfare. I don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours.
And this is what it on.
Mama, city still ours. We yelling out our hoods, we don't even own our homes. We don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours. Bro, the city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours.
What it on?
The city still ours.
See, now it already gave me punch already. You know, for according to the research, you know, I did about the VCC is I looked up all the consoles, and I have it set to the Brit 4K series, and I'm not sure exactly which console it emulates. I think it's the SSL 4000 series, and it gives you a punchy type feel. So and throughout my mixes, I kind of toggle between the 4KG and the 4KE. Those sound the best to me. I like the Brit N, which emulates the Neve. I'm not sure exactly which console, but I have it set to the 4000E right now. Input change and input at its default, and the drive at its default, which is 6. So I like how it sounds then. And let me pull up a channel because I did some tweaking. Now I'm not really doing this to show how I slapped on these plugins and changed my whole mix. Of course, I did some tweaking with some of the instruments as well as my vocals. But as you can see, I put a FG401 and a custom series EQ to tweak out one of my kicks, and it worked out pretty well. What else? Next thing I have up is the FG Gray, which is supposed to emulate the bus compressor on the SSL. Now, let me tell you, when I tell you this thing gives you a full sound, like a full sound, like it's crazy. And like I said before, it's not just slapping on one plugin and voila, my mixes sound great. Is all of these plugins are working together to give a whole complete sound. So I'm gonna show you guys with it off. I'm gonna just toggle it on and off. So here it go without it.
Yeah. My mama all alone, getting by on welfare. I don't care, the city still ours.
Here's with it.
The city still ours. Mama, city still ours. We yelling out our hoods, we don't even own our homes. We don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours.
Put it on.
Bro, the city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours.
As you can hear, it fills everything up quickly. I just got it doing 1 dB gain reduction. Not too much. I don't really like to squash my mix too much. Um, just the sound of it is doing enough for me. Next thing I have up is a little EQ. Taking out some of the mids, bringing out the lows. So I'm gonna just toggle with that and let y'all hear how that sounds.
Yeah. My mama all alone, getting by on welfare. I don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours. Mama, city still ours. We yelling out our hoods, we don't even own our homes. We don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours. Bro, the city still ours. The city still ours. The city still.
As y'all can hear, just taking out the mids really brought out the highs and the lows. So, I mean, you don't have to, raise your lows or raise your highs if that's what you want. Sometimes you can, take out something else to bring out the thing you want to, to bring out the thing you wanted to bring out, if that makes sense. The next thing I have up is really what glues everything together, and that's the SLATE digital virtual tape machines. And like I said, I know nothing about how these analog equipment sounds like in person, or I never had really any personal experience with these things. I just know that they sound great. And all it took was me looking at a couple of tutorials on pretty much how to use it or how it was used in an actual setting. And I took that and followed it and incorporated it into my mixing, and I got it to how I wanted to sound. So I'm gonna let you guys hear it without it, and then with it I'm gonna toggle on. So here we go. Here's without it first.
Yeah. My mama all alone, getting by on welfare. I don't care, the city still ours. Put it on. The city still ours. Mama, city still ours. We yelling out our hoods, we don't even own our homes. We don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours. Bro, the city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours. The city still ours.
So that's pretty much what topped it off, is the virtual tape machine. Like I said, I just flick the buttons and flick the settings until I basically got it right, and I pushed it a little bit, not too much. I don't have it pushing it hard. I mean, pretty much, what sounds right, and I basically put a limiter on and pretty much did my usual, limiting, to bring up the mix. And like I said, I did do some tweaking to some instruments as well as my vocals. So here's my kick. I used the FG401, which is supposed to emulate the dynamics on the SSL, and as well as a couple of other settings. And I put on a custom EQ, took out some of the mids, the low mids on that. What else I do? And of course I did some tweaking to my vocals. Put on, where we at?
My mama all alone, getting by on welfare. I don't care, the city still ours. The city still ours. Mama, city still ours.
Slapped on the reverb.
We yelling out our hoods, we don't even own our homes. We don't care, the city still ours. The city
did the same thing.
Still ours. We made it past our teens off of sheer willpower. From the bottom of near view to the zenith of Main Hill. We free to go anywhere and the fear allows us. We looking for a real fix. We're at it up.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I have the video up on my page. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description. And I really appreciate you guys checking me out. If any questions, hit me up. Hit me up on the comments, and I'll quickly reply to y'all. You know how I do. But check y'all out next time. Peace.